Ted is with us again today. President, thank you so much for being with us. What's the week been like for you?
Well, like a lot of us, it's a week of challenges, trying to anticipate and plan for the future when most of us don't know what the future will hold. So what I can say is being here in the state of Nebraska, working with all of our university partners, our faculty, we just are so blessed to have terrific people to be surrounded by.
I mentioned just a moment ago that you went to the online learning once the students came back from spring break. You're now well past a week into that. What updates are you hearing from students and faculty?
Well, it's pretty remarkable how much all of our faculty and staff, as well as our students, have really, just really stepped up. We're hearing that the programs are working really well. I think that many of our faculty have learned a tremendous amount, but it's also probably surprising to many of our listeners how many of our faculty have actually been involved in online education before, especially out in Kearney. Over 80% of the faculty have done online education. So, I'd like to think that we as a University of Nebraska system are one of the nation's leaders in how we're, transforming ourselves to do the online education mission.
I know UNL made an announcement earlier this week that they're going to continue this through their summer term. Take me through the decision-making process for that for the summer.
Yeah, well, I think for most people, they really just want some level of predictability. I think we're going to start to see ourselves come on the backside of that what now well-known curve. Life probably won't look like normal for a little while, but we know that we can go to online education this summer, so we expanded our courseware at UNL, offered it at a price point that we thought would be more attractive. As many people know, our graduate programs in online education are nationally ranked, especially in our business side and the legal side. So we're looking at, in some cases, more than 1.5 times our normal student load already for people that are signing up for our summer programs.
Ted, we've talked so much the last couple of weeks about your current students and your current faculty. What about looking ahead to the future students to this campus? This is a big time of year for tours, for young people getting enrolled for the first time at one of your campuses. How are you handling that type of thing?
Well, obviously, we're concerned about enrollment. We're doing everything we can to maximize, the capabilities of doing virtual tours. UNL just had a big push for, the enrollment of the future freshman class coming up here for the class of 2024. Tremendous amount of excitement and people that signed up, young men and women that signed up already. So, we're obviously preparing, and we want to be ready to go to in-classroom education coming in the fall. So we're trying to make it as exciting and do everything we can that would kind of look like life is normal. And the admissions teams on all of our campuses, but especially UNL, they're doing a really great job.
Visiting with Nebraska President Ted Carter here on Sports Nightly on the Husker Sports Network. The governor made an announcement this week that the state has come into a partnership with the university to use dorm spaces for quarantine patients. How did this come about? And talk about the relationships between the university and the state in a crisis like this.
Yeah, I think this is just a fine example of the relationship that we have with the governor of Nebraska, Governor Ricketts, as well as our mayors across all of our campuses and all our major cities. We've been working on this for a while. It looks like it's now starting to come together. We're a little bit less than 10% of the student body that was living in dorms and campus that have gone to remote education in other locations. So we do have some dorms for those that did stay with us. We've kind of now put them all into one place so that the available dorm spaces are separated. And this is really an intent for those like first responders, those that are in the medical community that are working tirelessly in this problem. If they want to quarantine themselves while they're working, this is supported financially through FEMA. So we saw this as a chance for a win-win between the campuses and how we work with our community.
Ted, are you comfortable with the safety aspect of this, of having students who may be utilizing some dorm space with some people who could have some infections that come into the quarantine spaces?
Yeah, we've thought through all that in terms of separating by building for our students that are there. So they, folks that may be coming in for quarantine won't even be in the same buildings. And of course, we'll go through thorough cleaning when that period of time is over. So we're confident we can do this safely, and we've been doing this with advice of our University of Nebraska Medical Center partners. So I'd like to think we've thought through all the possibilities here.
One thing that crossed the news desk in the last couple of days was a collaboration between UNO, their students, and the folks at UNMC to develop an app that's going to allow people to screen themselves for potential COVID-19 symptoms. Give us some more information about that.
So this is just how everybody is stepping up to be part of the solution. We had a number of students at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, some of our Scott scholars that actually wrote code and worked with the company Apple to create an application that would be a kind of a pre-screener, if you will, an app that you put on your phone. It not only gives you some baseline information about whether or not you are showing symptoms or whether or not you're asymptomatic, it's also an ability to track and put people into a database. So this is the beginning of something that we know that we need. I mean, if we're going to get through this, we're going to have to get through not just testing, but tracking of where the infectious disease is. So really proud and excited of not only the work that was done by some of our students here, but the collaboration between a great company like Apple.
Oh, that's fantastic. Again, we're visiting with Ted Carter, University of Nebraska President, here on Sports Nightly. You've been on the job since the first of the year. I'm sure this is not how you imagined your first 3+ months going as president of this university. I'm sure you have some visions and things you want to get implemented. That has, I guess, to be put on the back burner right now because you have these pressing needs. How has that changed your routine? And I'm sure you have to be adaptable in a position like yours.
Well, I'm certainly on the phone a lot between the chancellors, our board of regents, the governor, mayors, pretty much all of our constituents, Chamber of Commerce members, and even our big-time donors. There's a lot of communication going on. I still do a lot of listening. The strategy that we were getting ready to roll out under what kind of looked like normal times a few months ago has been put on hold a little bit, but the big themes are still the same. We're here to take care of Nebraskans. We're here to educate an entire generation of young men and women who will be ready to go into the workforce. As we're looking at our near term and then just what's on the other side of this, we want to make sure that our price points, our attraction, our scholarship programs are set to support the youth of Nebraska. And I'm excited about what some of the things that we're getting ready to roll out here in just a few weeks. You'll be hearing more about that here soon. Obviously we're worried about the economics of the backside of this like everyone else, and we're preparing for that. We're doing, as you expect, due diligence. About 1/3 of our budget does come from the state. We're talking to members of the unicameral and making sure we have an understanding of what the future might hold. So there's a lot of planning, a lot of preparation for what the future will hold. But there's one thing I know for sure. The University of Nebraska is going to be vibrant and relevant. We've got the right people here. And the youth of Nebraska, they're stepping up too. I'm really encouraged to see how many young people want to go into the medical field. They see how important it is to be on the front line of this right now. We're seeing that trend, not just here in Nebraska, but nationally. So very, very proud to be part of this team.
No doubt. You mentioned the financial strain that people have with this pandemic, and no doubt your students are not immune to this. We talked about this last week about there are some opportunities out there for Nebraskans to support some university students if they so desire. Can you update us again on that?
Yeah, so working with our University of Nebraska Foundation, there is a kind of an emergency relief fund. It's focused on our students, our students that have need. We've seen quite a few students that have applied for some of that need, those that may have had a job that wasn't even affiliated with the university but lost it because it was a part-time job at a restaurant or something out here in town. And again, people are stepping up and helping to support that. Not a surprise, our food banks are getting more active as this goes on. So I'm just thankful to the people who support through their generosity, through just their good deeds to support with their own financial resources to take care of our students.
Ted, thank you so much again for spending some time with us. I think these are very informative, and I know our audience enjoys hearing from you and getting the updates from week to week. And I think you're right. I think we kind of feel like we're maybe starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And kudos to you and your chancellors and all the people at the university for all the fine work they've done over the last 30 days.
Well, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate the ability to talk to our Husker Sports Nation. Go Big Red.